I am thrilled to be sitting here today to interview a gentleman by the name of Barry Friedman. Now, when I first found out about Barry, he was a member of the Raspini Brothers, which is a highly respected corporate act in the market, and I came across something where Barry had started a website called Get More Corporate Gigs. It was, designed to take your business to the next level. I've always been skeptical of that kind of thing. I was probably one of Barry's hardest sales, but quite honestly, he's made a major change in my career. I'm thrilled to share this interview with you today. And Barry, I'd like you to start by telling everybody, why did you become involved in the careers of other entertainers?
Yeah, hey Tom, good to see you. Life happens in real time, as we all know, and it's because of this little piece of metal that anything that I've done as far as business coaching actually helps. This is a Rockwood pin. This is what they put inside your collarbone when you smash it to pieces. Ooh. This was the result of a wonderful flight off my mountain bike, followed by a terrible landing, and it was laying in bed recovering from that surgery in 2007. I just started thinking, what else am I good at in case I can never move again? I was having a hard time moving my right hand. I had all kinds of nerve damage when I moved my arm. I got shooting pains down my arm. I thought maybe that's it for juggling. So with some chatting with my wife, I started thinking, what am I good at? And really what we came up with was I'm good at selling a juggling act for a lot of money. That was my skill set up to that point in life. So I started playing with some ideas about having an online course. I'd certainly taken a whole bunch of online business courses and learned from a lot of people. So put together Get More Corporate Gigs and launched it out there in the world. And boom, man, 570 people or so have taken that course since then. And it's still something that lives out there. But, as you mentioned, we've worked a lot on business and growing it. And it's gone to new places since then.
I'll tell you, I was very impressed because I took the Get More Corporate Gigs, and it taught me a lot that I had never thought of, or things that I just needed to implement and hadn't. Yeah. And then you started talking about Showbiz Blueprint, and I was under the impression, what can this guy teach me that he hasn't already taught me? And I was blown away by the Showbiz Blueprint. So let's talk a little bit about that, and then we'll go into some concepts that our viewers can use to maybe enhance their show right away.
Yeah. So you mean like anything, when you started performing, you had one idea of how it would all go and what your act would look like and what audiences would get from the show. And the same thing with Get More Corporate Gigs. About 4 years into running that, I learned so much more about how to help people and how to teach people and really what was still missing in the program. And what I really came up with was there's one way to learn this dripped out over a year in a long course, and then there's another, they have like language immersion courses where you go live with families and that's all you do and speak. So Showbiz Blueprint became this idea of what if we just immersed this, if it was like learning Spanish or German, going to live with a family and picking that up. So with that program, it's 10 intense weeks, homework every single day, group accountability and brainstorming groups, private brainstorming accountability groups, dedicated tiny Facebook group of just people doing it, access to me. I'm in there. You know how it is in there. You're in an alumni group, and it's been, a couple of years, and I still don't lay off that group. It's just people who are serious, want to dig in, want to just say, hey, I'm done with all the BS. I'm done playing around with the small stuff, waiting for this thing to ring day after day. And then waking up every morning and kind of going, yeah, I'm going to do the same thing in my marketing I've done for the last year and get the same damn results. So it's a slap.
Well, and it's a great slap because the 10 weeks that I took the Showbiz Blueprint, I think were the 10 most productive weeks of my career. You've totally changed everything. The way I envision myself in the marketplace, the way I've promoted myself since then, the level of shows that I've done, it's all changed. So somebody's watching this video, and you're going to be offering them 4 free videos, right?
Yep. Those are on this page that they're watching right now. Definitely.
Right over here to the side where they can sign up, and I highly recommend it. So give them an idea of what they're going to be seeing in these videos. Would you mind?
Yeah, I have a wrap-up of them. I just reshot them all. I had launched Showbiz Blueprint, as you know, 7 times before. This is the 8th. And I've reshot all these videos. Once again, the learning more and picking up more about really how to deliver what it is for people. In this one, let's see. Woo! Let me see. What did I send? There's so much. I didn't know I was going to go in the script. You guys should sign up for these videos. I can tell you about them, but the truth is, inside of it, I'm going to solve some problems that is probably living inside your promo material right now. Definitely living inside your promo material. Action steps you can take for that. Ways to have a phone call with a prospect. Never sound, in fact, do this. Watch the first 3 videos and have a phone call with a prospect, someone who's thinking of hiring you. And tell me, just after watching that video, if the phone call sounds anything like it would have sounded before you watched that video. It won't, and if it does, you need to watch that video again and take off a hat that says, hey, I already know how to do all this, and just do what I say in that one video.
Well, it made a major difference in the way I handled calls and clients. So let's talk about the mistakes that most entertainers make in promoting their act.
Yeah, there's some big ones. It's and we grow up, hey, we're victims of this because of our business, right? We're on stage, we've got light shining in our eyes, there's people applauding, and we think, wow, people really like me, The truth is, when you're pitching your act, when you're talking to prospects, you've got to quit thinking that anyone except maybe our mom and dad really care about us. When you're speaking to a client, a prospect who hasn't hired you yet, they don't give a damn about you. Yeah, the conversation's there, but the truth is they only care about one thing, and that's, their audiences, their sales reps, if it's in corporate world, if it's in libraries, the kids there. It doesn't matter what the market is. Will those people be better off if they make the decision to hire you? That is literally the only thing they care about. So what does that do? That tells you don't start your web copy, your phone conversations. If you're at a live networking event, don't start with how long you've loved ventriloquism, what your first figure was, any of that stuff. It just doesn't matter. It's ineffective, and it stops the communication. The first thing any communication you have with a prospect has to be is finding out all about them, reversing it, turning the tables, and finding out what the event's about, what they've had in the past, what are the biggest hang-ups, what are they teaching at the conference, what's the name of the conference, what are the breakout session names in the conference. I'm speaking about the corporate stuff, what I'm teaching in here. Tom can give his opinion on this, but we've had balloon twisters, we've had people who work library shows, we've had people that do art centers. Every single audience, every producer has something they go to sleep thinking about or try to sleep because it's bugging them too much. Having the conversation from that viewpoint, and you can all do that. Every entertainer in the world can do that through the eyes of what's their problem. How can what you might be able to offer solve it?
Okay. Now let me ask you, as a business coach, you have coached entertainers around the world. What's the biggest problem you see that slows down an entertainer's progression?
Yeah, it's it's refusing to try new things. We are strong in what we do on stage. We're entrepreneurs, solopreneurs in that way. We get to decide what happens the second we walk on stage. And the truth is, a lot of how entertainers run their business is counterintuitive. It's very intuitive how they do run it now, but the right way to run it is very counterintuitive. So it's hard-headedness about just making those mistakes year after year. I remember a great line you wrote to me when I was sending out automated emails a lot about get more corporate gigs. You were like, hey, man, my coaching sessions happen after shows with beers, with other entertainers. It was something like that. And I was like, that was great. And are there other ways to do it? Are there techniques that are working for people in other markets that you could bring into your practice? And, and entertainers, there's a lot of it that's just made up. Here's what I'm going to do with this guy. Here's what I'm doing with this one. You could mention a word or two on the funnels. I'm so big on systems in business. I have a pre-booking funnel. I have a post-booking funnel. I have a pre-show funnel. I have a post-show funnel. I have a funnel for when you just meet someone at a business event, kind of a 3-part funnel. It's like, find systems that work in your business and just repeat them. We do the same thing on stage. I've got jokes I've been doing since 1982 in my show because they work. And if they don't work, I chuck them out and write new ones. But, I like to find things that work and just keep going. And I think that's something that's such a foreign concept to entertainers. When they hear it, they're like, oh, we're more reactive. It's like we're horse riding. Like we're riding a horse, and you got to stay balanced on that thing. But the show business part of it doesn't have to be that way. You can have systems in place that actually are repeatable, and you know what's coming up next. You schedule these things in advance. We use tools for scheduling a 6-part email series. So, so that's a huge mistake.
I'll tell you, that's great stuff. And I forgot that I had sent you that because, yeah, I used to sit around after shows. We'd be working with other entertainers. We'd be in the same market. We'd start sharing ideas and everything. And I thought that I was learning the business through them. And when I opened my mind up to everything that you started teaching, and I'll be honest, because I was probably in your email list for years before I actually signed up for something.
Yeah, probably.
The first thing I signed up for, I learned something right away that allowed me to book a show, and more than paid for what I had invested. So anybody who's on the fence about this, I'd like you to take a look at what Barry has to offer. And Barry, let me ask you one thing.
Yeah.
I want to give them something really concrete here. Is there one thing that the people listening to this today could do to go out and book a show?
Sure. So let me, one thing you can do for sure is put your name and email address in that box. Some people are really shy about that. They think, oh, I'm going to start getting stuff from spam company. Yeah, I never do that. It's not my thing. And anything I ever send you has a link at the bottom to click to unsubscribe, and I disappear. Just a side note on that. Take the risk of giving yourself some new insight. We deal with a lot of input in these programs that creates remarkable output, and this stuff, these 4 videos, will knock your socks off. You'll take away some big points from this. So one thing you can do is that. Another thing, if you want to get going on just shaking your cage a little bit, rattling your cage, do this. And I've taught Tom this, and I hope he does it once in a while. I am a huge fan of going back to where we've already made money. So I will do this occasionally. I'll probably do a few today, being Monday after a holiday. I will just grab a contract out of my my past contracts and just drop a line. Just put a note on there. Hey, Sarah, something happened this weekend on Easter, and it just made me think about the amazing time I had with the painters at the Las Vegas convention 4 years ago. And that's it. I don't sell in that email. I don't kind of say, hey, check out my new website. Here's a video attached. It's just something put a huge smile on my face that happened at the Las Vegas conference. Hope you're doing well. Sign off. I love doing things like that. And so many of those, I put it in quotes, how you doing emails, or here's a memory I have emails, have turned into 5-figure contracts more than I could ever count. So a really quick and easy thing to do, recall something funny that happened at an event 1, 2, 5 years ago. Drop that person a quick hello and sign off.
Great advice, Barry, and you're right. It changes. You've changed the entire way I look at marketing and the way I look at dealing with clients. No longer constantly pressuring for the sale, developing that relationship. So everybody who's listening to this, I know you're nervous about it. You don't always want to sign up for it, but there's a box right over here. Sign up for it. Like Barry said, you can click at any time to get out of it, but watch the videos because they're going to have great content, and you're getting ready to fire up the Showbiz Blueprint again, which only shows up at different times during the year. Yeah,
it's been 8 months and just decided I'm going to try, I want to do this one more time. There's been some things that's come along, and different from ways that it's run the last few times, which has been a recordings program. This one's a recordings program. You guys get the, this will have the benefit of all the live programs I've ever done. I think when you did it, I probably had one producer that I interviewed and really got in. Now there's 3 from each live time, so it builds up. And also this time I'm doing a couple of live webinars along the 10 weeks just to really update stuff with what's happening, like now, like Monday, Tuesday, what's happening right now. So we'll add some live elements to it.
That's excellent, and I told Barry before the thing, I'm thinking about taking it again just to re-wet my feet because I love the information, and it's always good to hear it again and again. So, Barry, I want to thank you very much for your time here this morning. Is there anything else you want to give these people before they get out of here?
Yeah, I love what you're doing for vets around the world with the online stuff, man. I think you're kicking butt. Just wanted to throw that in as a side note. The only thing I'll throw in at the end is, our buddy Mr. Einstein said it a long time ago, doing the same thing will get you the same results, and expecting any different is insanity. Trust yourself. If this feels like something that maybe you think, wow, maybe this guy does have something to teach me, maybe all the testimonials on the website aren't just made up, maybe the video testimonials are real.
I bought at Fiverr.
I bought them on Fiverr. Right, exactly. I can get real entertainers on Fiverr to do testimonials for me. One of the big fears I think that lives in entertainers is that every single person in their past who said, you'll never make a living at this, you'll never succeed at this, you need to get a real job. I think there's a story running in a lot of entertainers' heads that, my God, what if those people are right? And arm yourself with whatever you can to give yourself the gift of a successful career, a career where you get to travel the world, change lives, and play bigger in so many different ways. I never thought I'd be doing something like this. But really just every step I've taken has given me the courage to do the next step. And a big step is stepping out, doing programs like Showbiz Blueprint, doing something I'm doing right now with an entirely different niche, appearing on TV shows I did 2 last week. I'll do a couple more next week. Just keep building, keep playing bigger, keep stepping up, and keep taking the risks. And to do that, hang around people who have done things like that. One of my favorite parts of Showbiz Blueprint is the people who make that investment in themselves. Those are people who are fun to play with.
It's been an incredible community, and for everyone who's watching this, I really have to credit Barry for everything I've done in the last 3 years, I would say. If you've been impressed with anything that I've done, take a look at what he's doing. He's going to blow you out of the water. This man inspires me every day to go further and reach further and achieve more. Barry, I want to thank you very much for spending some time with us today, and I hope everybody signs up at the opt-in form right over here.
Please do, man. Please. Hey, thanks, Tom, very much.
Thank you, Barry.